Hello everyone, it's Old Guardian here. Hearthstone Castle Nathria second balance patch is now live, and in this video I'm going to take a look at the top 12 best decks in the game after 2 days in the new balance patch. Obviously, this early in the new balance patch, things are still up in the air. People are still playing a lot of decks that are from the previous balance patch that are not doing that well. Those decks are slowly on their way out. New improved versions and new improved archetypes are on their way in. And of course, once the meta consists of good decks again, then the balance of power is going to change a little bit. But anyway, this is what it looks like right now. If you're headed to the ladder right at this moment, you are trying to climb what were the best decks to use. And coming in at number 12 is Big Spell Mage. I was a little bit surprised by the mage decks. I expected Big Spell Mage to rank up a little bit higher because I didn't think that it would take such a beating. And on the other hand, I thought that Spooky Mage would be taking more of a beating. Looking at the archetypes as a whole, I was kind of right. Big Spell Mage is ranked higher than Spooky Mage overall, but I think the best Spooky Mage lists are actually doing better than the Big Spell Mage list, so once all the bad Spooky Mage lists are out, I think Spooky Mage might be the winner of the Mage encounter. But anyway, Big Spell Mage is a viable deck for climbing right now. And coming in at number 11, we have Quest Hunter. Quest Hunter still has pretty much the same matchup spread that it used to do, but now, of course, completing the quest is a little bit more difficult, it's a little bit slower. It lost some percentage points in pretty much every matchup, and as a result, it's still a playable deck, but it's not a top tier deck anymore. And at number 10, we have Ramp Druid. Yeah, Ramp Druid, you just can't get rid of it. But what is especially interesting from my perspective about Ramp Druid is that White Hot Guff is still the best card in Ramp Druid. Yeah, lots of people are saying that, hey, Guff is just going to be killed with this nerf or it's going to be so bad. I was a little bit like, I don't think that's such a big deal. But yeah, Guff is still the best card in the list, although Guff is noticeably weaker than it was before, because it's best card by a small margin, whereas it used to be best card by multiple percentage points. But anyway, Ramp Druid, if you want to snowball the games and blow people out, have a chance in every game, because you can always just high roll, Ramp Druid might be the deck for you. And at number 9 we have Spooky Mage, specifically this Spooky Mage list. Overall, the other Spooky Mage lists are doing a little bit weaker right now. There are a few different competing ideas of how to build Spooky Mage, but this one seems to be doing pretty well. This one might even be doing better than Big Spell Mage, maybe even in the long run. So if this is going to be what Spooky Mage players are going to gravitate towards, then maybe this is the future of Mage after all. And at number 8 we have Face Hunter. Well, hey, I hear there's a meta change. Time to grab the Face Hunter and go beat people up when they're trying out new things. Yeah, that's like, that happens. Whether Face Hunter has the longevity to actually stay in this list, and whether it's going to be a top deck for the duration of until the next balance patch, the next miniset, I'm not sure yet. But right now, you can take your Face Hunter out there and beat up some people who are experimenting. At number 7 we have Quest Priest. Quest Priest has a couple of really good matchups against some aggressive decks like Aggro Druid and Naga Priest that are increasingly popular and are pretty good right now. So it has its upsides, but it also has a whole bunch of bad matchups, and it's very polarized. When it wins, it just wins, but when it loses, it tends to lose hard as well. So far we have not yet seen Kael'thas being used in Quest Priest. Remember, Kael'thas now costs 8, so you could complete your quest line with Kael'thas, and then you could also play your quest reward on the same turn as long as you have a couple of mana left over, and yeah, some things could happen, but that's probably not going to be a thing. Anyway, Quest Priest is still viable. Number 6 is the biggest surprise to me, that's the Relic Demon Hunter. Yeah, Relic Demon Hunter is steadily above 50% right now, but its performance, it's still like going up and down, and is this going to be a 55% win rate deck? Is this going to be a 51% win rate deck? I do not know yet. But it does have some bad matchups that are not promising for the deck, because Beast Hunter, Naga Priest and Imp Warlock are bad matchups that you don't want to have in this current meta or in the upcoming meta as they are becoming more popular. So I would predict that Relic Demon Hunter is going to go down in the future, but right now it seems to be a deck that you can actually play. And at number 5 we have Control Shaman. Murloc Shaman had its brief moment to shine last week, just before the balance patch. It was able to overtake Control Shaman, but that was momentary. And right now, even though Kael'thas was nerfed and subsequently Kael'thas was dropped from Control Shaman lists, Control Shaman is still doing pretty well in the current meta. And at number 4 we have Imp Warlock, specifically the Curse variant of Imp Warlock. There are a couple of different variants of Imp Warlock, but the Curse variant seems to be doing a notch better than any other right now. So this would be the type of Imp Warlock I would play at the moment. And the list hasn't changed, not by a single card from last week, just the rank has improved a little bit. And the third best deck in the game is a complete budget deck, Aggro Druid. There have been a couple of variations of Aggro Druid, like do you use those Clawfury Adepts, do you use Crooked Cooks or not, one Pride's Fury or two, maybe Power of the Wild, maybe not, maybe Mark of the Wild. There's a few variations, it's still unclear which one of those is going to be the best eventually. It of course differs also depending on what meta you're in. But be that as it may, Aggro Druid does look like it is a permanent feature of the current meta, and that's a really welcome sight because it is by far the cheapest competitive deck. And right now, coming in at number 2, we have Naga Priest. I talked about Naga Priest in the preview video for the patch, like, okay, Naga Priest, all the numbers point that Naga Priest should become good, but the numbers have pointed at Naga Priest coming good before, and it never has become that good. I mean, it's been like number 8 or number 7 or number 9, something like that. Always I've thought, hey, now it's going to be in top 3. But now, at least for a brief moment here, it is actually in top 3. But can it stay here? It has weakness against Beast Hunter. One of its great matchups is Relic Demon Hunter, which I think is overplayed at the moment. So we'll see whether Naga Priest is here to stay. But for the time being, Naga Priest. Pretty great deck. And then the number 1 deck in the game, exactly as predicted, it's Beast Hunter. Well, Beast Hunter was left with pretty much no weaknesses. Bless Priest seems to be its main weakness at the moment. It has a bunch of strong matchups. It's just overall very solid, very steady deck. Very strong in many matchups, lots of a little bit over 50%. It reminds me of Control Shaman before all the nerfs. So Beast Hunter just taking that position, very flexible mid-range deck, so it can defend, it can attack, it has a lot of pressure, it has a lot of threats. And also pretty fun deck, I would have to say, because there are so many things that you can do with this deck. And it's currently the best deck in the game. Thank you for watching. Click like and subscribe if you enjoyed this, and a special thanks to all of my Patreon supporters, YouTube members and Twitch subscribers who make all of these videos possible.